There, that ought to do it. Well, continuing on my hike, I'll multitask by working the bag of wheat seed heads to remove the seeds from the chaff. You can see where some of the stems have actually poked through the bag. They're pretty tough. Okay, now I've walked about a mile working the bag the whole while, and I've laid out my coat on the ground to make a clean surface, and we'll dump out the contents of the bag. Looks like a pretty good take. Fluff up the seed heads a bit to allow the seeds that have been removed to settle to the bottom. Now there still will be some seeds remaining in the seed heads. Generally, if I'm not starving to death, I won't bother with those. I'll just return them back to nature for the mice and to regenerate a new crop of wheat. That's a good meal of seeds. Very highly nutritious, filling, high in protein and starch and calories. Now, before we eat these, we're going to need to winnow them. It's full of detritus, little bits of chaff, and there's no breeze today, so I can't do the age-old method of throwing the piles into the air and having the breeze remove the chaff for me. So what I'll do is I'll just take small handfuls at a time and blow on them manually and remove the chaff in that way. Won't take very many minutes before I can process this entire pile of seeds. It's a good break anyway from my long walk. Like I said, I've been walking all night. I'm pretty tired. Okay, now I've winnowed the wheat seeds, and as you can see, there's a pretty good pile. Plenty for a nice meal. Now, there's a spider. I'll eat him too. High in protein. Now, we could boil these or roast them if the seeds have dried out and become hard. But these seeds are pretty fresh and they're nice and soft and they're edible just as they are. Along the way, I also harvested a fair amount of wild blackberries. A nice addition to the morning breakfast. Again, these are also highly nutritious, very good for me, very sustaining. Help give me enough energy to get back to my vehicle and hit the road. When you're tired and hungry in the Great North Woods, you probably wouldn't expect to come upon a field of ripe wheat. And that's just my point. The successful survivor always keeps an eye out for possibilities. The food, the shelter, water, whatever comes his way, he'll recognize it for what it is, a viable resource that he can use to help him survive come what may. I'm Ron Fontaine from SurvivalTopics.com.